Good film.
It sure is. Next movie, Orson Welles' film Touch of Evil came out in 1958, but only this year has it been finally seen as Welles wanted it to be seen. 2 weeks ago at the Telluride Film Festival and then last week at the Toronto Festival, audiences were shown a version of the film based on a 58-page memo by Welles, who disapproved of the way that Universal Studios recut his film, making it shorter and adding additional shots. On its 40th anniversary, the film has been re-edited as Welles wanted it. Here's a taste of the famous opening shot, which lasts for 3 minutes and 20 seconds in this new version. As Welles intended, the opening titles no longer obscure the action. They've been moved to the end of the movie. And the Henry Mancini theme song has been replaced by what Welles wanted, music and sound effects from the city street and from loudspeakers and car radios. Listen to how the soundtrack establishes the atmosphere here.
American citizens?
I am, yes.
Where were you born, miss?
Mrs.
What?
Philadelphia.
The name is Vargas. Hey, Jim. You see who's here? Sure, Mr. Vargas. Out on the trail of another dope ring?
That was Charlton Heston as a Mexican drug enforcement official and Janet Leigh as his new bride from Philadelphia. Heston squares off against Orson Welles as the corrupt sheriff on the American side of the border. Here Welles plays a visit to an old friend, a madam, played by Marlene Dietrich.
Have you forgotten your old friend?
I told you we were closed.
I'm Hank Quinlan.
I didn't recognize you. You should lay out those candy bars.
Touch of Evil is a rich picture visually, as in this scene where the camera doesn't cut as it watches the sheriff and the Mexican official argue over falsified evidence. If you're like me, you've seen Touch of Evil before and admired it for its visuals, but never been absolutely sure you understood all of the ins and outs of the plot. This new version has about 50 changes, many of them minor, but together they add up to a more coherent and involving story. And the film, of course, celebrates Welles's great visual sense as it coils through that corrupt border town where the sheriff has been nursing a private wound for 30 years. Touch of Evil opens starting this week in revival theaters around the country.
Well, it demands to be seen. You've talked about the visuals. Let's credit the cinematographer Russell Meddy, who is considered, one of the great ones. I've talked to some veteran stars over the years, and they like being photographed by him. You're right. The story is a little bit more a lot more friendly.
A lot, people, I've noticed over the years that people kind of avoid. They don't want to say, well, I didn't understand it,
right.
But they go, oh, yeah, that was kind of like, was the kid involved in the original drug ring, or was the, and now you can understand it, yeah. But really, in any event, the plot is just a clothesline anyway for these images and performances.
Yeah, and in this case, less is more because it's been simplified.
Coming up next in a